Ron Ridenour died with two unshakable convictions left dangling. One, My Lai was not an aberration. And two, the responsibility for such crimes should travel up the chain of command to those who ordered and directed the misdeeds of the perpetrators on the ground. Nick Terse, one of today's honorees, confirmed Ron's first conviction in an important piece of new reporting on the Vietnam era. In a 6-month period from December 68 through May 69, the 9th Infantry Division fighting in the Mekong Delta counted over 10,000 enemy dead, but only 750 captured weapons. This dramatic differential leads to the inescapable conclusion that the majority killed were civilians. Nick further documented that having first ordered civilian casualties, U.S. military officials then investigated the casualties, then they covered up the findings of their investigations. Ron believed our failure to learn from My Lai and from similar war crimes would lead us inevitably to repeat them, and that our ignorance of the true history of how we fought in Vietnam would lead us to draw the wrong lessons from that ignominious chapter. What were those trumpeted lessons? First, keep the Ron Ridenours off the battlefield by getting rid of the draft. A mercenary army ensures that fewer citizen soldiers like Ron will be there to question orders and blow whistles. Next, handcuff journalists through restrictions like pool reporting and embedding so that they don't turn voters against our dirty wars. Finally, minimize accountability by relying as much as possible on killing from a distance. Daniel Ellsberg, our first Ridenour Courage Prize winner, addressed the theme of accountability at the Congressional Conference on War and National Responsibility in Washington in 1970, arguing that those who occupied the highest ranks of the military and government had to be held accountable for their directives, not just those in the most danger, those who faced the enemy. Ron's thinking on accountability embraced the same conclusion. By his own account, he went plumb crazy when he learned that only Callie had been arrested, screaming and raging over the telephone to the Pentagon lower echelon official who had the duty of taking his collect calls. Our official response to Iraq and Afghanistan war crimes strongly suggests that Ellsberg's and Ron's moral outrage continues to be ignored. No one above the rank of sergeant was prosecuted for the crimes at Abu Ghraib. The murder charges for the deaths at Haditha all unraveled. Prosecution of the Vietnam-era war crimes that Ron and Nick have uncovered is certainly not in the cards. Yet 40 years later, we are again embroiled in a national debate over whether and how to investigate official crimes and to hold the perpetrators at the highest levels responsible. The chairman of both the House and Senate Judiciary Committees, Representative Conyers of Michigan and Senator Leahy of Vermont, have called for the establishment of a commission to expose the truth surrounding the crimes of the Bush administration and to build public support for holding the perpetrators to account. As Senator Leahy cogently argues, and Ron would have agreed, in order to turn the page, we must read it first. Our honorees today, as whistleblowers, investigative reporters, and editorial commentators, have devoted their careers to the cause of truth, and each has helped to lay the foundation for renewed congressional demands for accountability. If Conyers and Leahy succeed, I would urge them in Ron Ridenour's name not to settle for the William Callies among the malefactors. There is bigger game, as it were, in that bush. Nick Terse has written many pages that should be required reading for all of us, and his article is at your seat. That's why this year, for the first time in the young history of the Ridenour Prizes, we give a special award. This is a moment of great personal fulfillment for me. It completes a process that began 15 years ago when, inspired by Ron's visits to my classes at Tulane, I convened the 25th anniversary My Lai Conference. The point then has been borne out in the intervening years. We must understand our worst behavior, or we are doomed to repeat it. For his invaluable investigative story, A My Lai a Month, published last December in The Nation, we award Nick Turse a special Ridenauer Prize for reportorial distinction. We are grateful to Conrad Martin and the Fund for Constitutional Government for underwriting this award and the $5,000 stipend that it carries. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome Nick Turse.